Hey guys, it's Marco again. In today's raid I'm running Mutilate build with all the world buffs. I'm hoping to get a lot of 99% logs, so let's see how the raid went. For the first boss I went with the backstab build because bleeds and poisons don't work on him. And luckily Mutilate and backstab builds both share the same talents, so my DPS isn't really going to suffer. The boss was pulled way too early, so I had to sprint to get at the boss as soon as possible and immediately start to backstab him. I know that the tank is gonna taunt him, so I can do the first strike, it doesn't really matter. After 2 backstabs I did my slice and dice. I immediately popped my Distalty because I was expecting that this boss is gonna explode like super soon. Luckily for me, I didn't get the debuff to get knocked off the platform, and a person who got it actually jumped off the platform. So this is the first time I didn't drop into the water on Baron Aquanis. Now I had aggro because both of the tanks, or one tank, was in the water, so I couldn't backstab there for a moment. So I had to vanish immediately to drop aggro and just quickly ambush the boss. And there we go, I ended at 211 DPS, which was completely fine. Now for Gamora, I went back to the Mutilate build. Again, I'll say that Saber Slash is definitely the best build here. And I'm doing the same tactic as I did in the previous raid with Backstab build. I'm just gonna stack my poisons in this phase and try to get Slice and Dice up. We had one unfortunate pull with the crab. And I got in such a bad situation with these bubbles, and I kept getting bounced, and then I died, and all of my world buffs and my hopes of good logs went away just because of bad RNG and a random crab pull. But it is what it is. They actually managed to kill Gamora in this pull, so yeah, you won't see the slug. At this moment I was super bummed, and I decided to save some silver by not using free action potion and Distalty on this boss. So I had a normal start with Mutilate into Slice and Dice. Now I'm just gonna do 2 more Mutilates, and since I don't have a free action potion I need to move away from this coldness. Now I'm just gonna use 4 stacks of Slice and Dice, and this is going to be my last Slice and Dice for this fight. And from now on I'm just gonna hit Envenom. And there we go, this boss is super fast, super simple, and I have been rewarded with Toned Dark Water Talvar. This is the first I've seen in my raids, and every other DPS which needs it actually has it. So I finally got my hands on the Talvar, and I was actually kinda starting to get happy, even though I lost all of my roll buffs. And here we go, I won the roll because I was the only one rolling it. So I can actually do a proper Saber Slash build now. And I just got to say, this weapon is completely insane after a few days of using it. My god, it does so much damage, it's not even fair. In the last video I devised a pretty nice tactic for this boss, but I assume that I'm not gonna do the same damage here because I have no Saber Slash and I don't have any world buffs or elixirs or anything. So I started the boss normally, opening with Garrot into Mutilate, Slice and Dice. Now I'm just gonna cast another... And now I'm not gonna cast another Slice and Dice because the boss is soon gonna die, so I'm just gonna go with the Envenom. And now when the March of the Murlocs is happening, try to stay on the boss and gather your combo points. So you can use 1 Slice and Dice when the boss is hittable again, and that your poisons don't drop. That's the most important part, you don't want your poisons to drop, so you can properly Envenom the boss when he starts taking actual damage. And there we go, the boss is already active. I even had combo points for Envenom, and I used Slice and Dice during the March of the Murlocs because I was expecting a big DPS. And my Slice and Dice dropped now, but it's okay, I'm gonna be without it for like a few seconds and the boss is already gonna phase. And now I'm just gonna repeat the same thing that I already did. I kinda used my instability in wrong timing, because it's ideal that you wait for the third phase so you can pump the boss completely, but it doesn't really matter since we're out DPSing the boss anyway. And there we go, I immediately started this last phase with an Envenom. I only have a few seconds left on Slice and Dice. I should have probably done a better job maintaining the buff. So I had to use one more like small combo point Slice and Dice, and now we're just gonna finish the boss. But ideally I should have used one more Envenom and still had Slice and Dice. For the fifth boss, you ideally want to focus on the priestesses and just pull the elite till the boss. So just focus on the priestess and cleave the elite. We didn't do the log run, so we didn't do that tactic. And just make sure to interrupt the priestesses and make sure that you have Slice and Dice up. There isn't really anything special about this phase. So this is kinda the worst phase for any rogue, because it's hard for rogues to do any AoE or cleave. We still don't have Blade Flurry, so we're kinda bad at this stage of the fight. In this phase, just make sure that you're constantly hitting something. That is the most important part. Now the boss is incoming, and since you're a rogue you should just focus on the boss, because you have your poisons and other classes can easily cleave. I changed my target to the Murloc because the totem was about to drop, the one which does a ton of damage, and then I immediately went for the Lightning Shield totem. Now I have a problem. The next totem is Corrupted Lightning Shield totem, and I can't use my energy, so I got overcapped with energy. Since I didn't want to use all of my energy on the boss for Mutilate, and then I wouldn't be able to use any combo points, because I would have no energy and the lightning totem would be up. Also, I was kinda unlucky. Even though I used Envenom, I still dropped my stacks of Deadly Poison, which isn't ideal, but you can't really do anything about the RNG. You're not running Shiv, so it doesn't really matter. And also, if you're gonna mutilate the little totem, make sure that you're behind the totem, so you benefit from Opportunity Talent for 20% damage. And the boss is about to fall down. I'm just gonna use one last Envenom and be done with it. And I was kinda blessed with the loot this raid, so that was kinda an apology from Blizzard for killing me on the second boss. And I managed to get both the sword and last piece of the set. I had an agreement with the hunter. He was gonna pass me the boots because it's my last part of the set, and the druid was gonna pass me the shoes if he gets the two-handed mace from this boss, and it actually dropped, so I got a free last piece of the set. So I was super happy at this moment, because I was waiting for this piece of the set to drop for quite a while. I already forgot that I lost all of my world buffs, so I was back to being happy Marco again. Even though I wouldn't do great logs, and now I actually popped some consumables for this boss since I wanted a clean kill. In my guild runs, I only have to interrupt the first chain and third, like every second chain is mine to interrupt. So I'm not losing as much energy as I did in my backstep run. Here I was super unlucky by losing a deadly poison. But it is what it is. Luckily, my deadly poison went to 5 stacks super fast, so it's just RNG. And now I got transported into the Shadowy Realm together with the tank, so our DPS is gonna be a bit lower, but hopefully we'll be able to get out of this phase super quickly. So we killed 2, 3, 4 priestesses so far. 5. Yeah, this is just a sucky phase. Here we go. After 6 priestesses we managed to get out, and the boss is already phasing to the last phase. The other DPSers were lucky because they didn't get pulled into the other realm. I immediately used my Thistle Tea and my gloves so I can pump as much DPS as I can in this last phase. But overall this whole boss was unlucky because I spent way too much time in the Shadowy Realm phase. Again, I had no slice and dice up here, but you don't want to use it since the boss is about to die, so you just use an Envenom. And now for the last boss, I just used Sprint so I can quickly get to him, use Garrote, Mutilate into Slice and Dice, then 2 Mutilates for another Slice and Dice. Ideally for this boss, for the optimized DPS, you want that your tank cleanses his debuff at like 65-60% of the boss HP depending on the damage on the group. So you will at least have something to do while the boss is phasing and not taking any damage. So you're gonna kill the little elementals. Actually, it took boss aggro and I took one debuff. I mean, I could have used my threat reduction, but I didn't since I have really a lot of HP and I can take a lot of hits. So I was actually playing it super calm, and I was just expecting that the tank is gonna pick up the boss soon. And now the boss is about to intermission, so I just did a quick Envenom and I immediately went for the droplets to focus on them and kill them. So this is ideal because usually you don't have anything to DPS while he's phasing, and this way you can DPS the droplets and do more damage, I guess. And now this is just a pure tank and spank. I'm just gonna try to stand as much as I can on the behind of the boss and do Mutilate, and when Backstab falls off and when Slice and Dice falls off, I'm just gonna use a new one. I can also use Vanish into Garrote. I'm not sure if I used it, but it would be an optimal thing to do. Now my Slice and Dice fell off, and I just used Slice and Dice with 2 combo points because I was expecting that the boss is gonna die around that time, so I didn't want to overcap too many combo points for Slice and Dice. And I actually used Vanish into Ambush. I should have used my Vanish sooner for Garrote, and that would result in definitely more damage. But overall I'm happy with my DPS output, considering that I didn't have any of the world buffs. And for the next raid we decided to do a log run, so everybody is gonna have all their consumables, world buffs, and luckily for me I have 3 parts of the set and a main hand weapon, which is going to be fun. I just hope that I don't die. So if you wanna see that, please make sure to leave a like and even consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.